Let me get your thoughts on not only how this game is going to go, but what do you think about Mayo's decision to start the veteran over two quite capable rookie quarterbacks?
Well, I think when it comes to the quarterback decision, I don't really think it's going to matter that much this year because when I look at the situation with the Patriots offensive line, outside of David Andrews, I think that this is going to be a pretty unstable offensive line. Now, granted, they have Michael Wenu on there to provide some stability, but this is not the New England offensive line that Patriot fans have been accustomed to when Brady was running the show and Belichick was running the show, where essentially that offensive line was locked down every game of the year. Now, granted, some games they lost, but nobody was really concerned about the issues regarding the offensive line. That is definitely the case this year. And it's been a noticeable issue over the last couple of years. And I don't think there's been enough done to really remedy that situation for my liking. Now, when it comes to the Patriots going up against the Bengals this weekend, this game is going to get ugly as far as the result is concerned. Because if I'm looking at this from the Bengals perspective, this is a tune-up game for them. Granted, when we look at tune-up games, I usually always refer to college football. Usually, like the first week, you have like Alabama usually go up against some like third-rate school like Appalachian State or some sort of FCS team, and they kick the shit out of them by like 40, 50 points. That's usually what you would see in those tune-up games in the realm of college football. This is as close as you're going to get to that in the NFL because when I look at the Bengals on paper, they should beat the Patriots by at least 3 touchdowns in this game. The only thing that's going to make this game interesting as far as I'm concerned is whether or not that Patriots defense can step up. Because the only thing that made the Patriots somewhat a competitive team last year, despite the fact that they had a terrible record, their defense kept them in it throughout most of the games last year, despite the fact that Mac Jones completely forgot how to play football. And going into this year, obviously there's a lot of focus and there's a lot of attention paid towards Drake May. If they put Drake May in there, they're probably going to set him up for failure. Truth be told, they're really setting up anybody who's playing the quarterback position for failure with the lack of offensive line talent surrounding whoever's going to be the starting quarterback. And when it comes to the wide receiver position, you have a lot of young receivers here. When it comes to the number one option might be Demario Douglas. Demario Douglas is still relatively young in his NFL career. They have KJ Osborne. And if you look at KJ Osborne was pretty much a third string wide receiver, when he was alongside Justin Jefferson, and you could maybe even say when Adam Thielen was there. But, is this going to be enough? They have some young receivers like Jalen Polk. Now, they do have Jalen Reagor. I think they cut him and then they brought him back onto the practice squad. So I don't know necessarily if they're going to have him starting as a wide receiver. But this wide receiver core is very weak. They don't have the pieces to be able to be a competitive team like in years past when they had Brady and Belichick at the helm. So when it comes to the Bengals, as long as the Bengals get off to a good start, I think they'll be fine. But when you look at the Bengals, they've had a checkered history in starting the season. And there have been plenty of times where we could look back where the first month of the season has been very rough for them. They've lost games that they probably should have won, and they haven't looked as good in the month of September as we would expect. So hopefully for them, they get those issues and those kinks worked out. Obviously, they have some issues lingering with the contract situation of Jamar Chase. His status for Sunday is still up in the air, so we don't know if he's going to play or not. But overall, I think when it comes to this game, I think the Bengals are going to win handily. And when it comes to the Patriots, I think the Patriots are going to have a very long road ahead of them. I think at best, we're looking at maybe like 4 or 5 wins for the entire year. And when it comes to the Bengals, I think the Bengals have a very good chance to kind of regain the momentum that they had from a couple years ago where they went all the way to the Super Bowl. And, unfortunately for them, they lost to the Rams. But they have that capability still, and they should still be regarded as a contender within the AFC